All right. Thank you for joining us, everyone, on a snowy day in Fayetteville. Matt Jones, get us going, please.
Hey, Coach, good morning. Pitching wise, have you made your determination how you're going to attack this weekend?
Well, we have, but we haven't talked to them yet. The pitchers, we're getting ready to practice in about 2 hours, and we just want to talk to them first, so we can either announce it later today or in the morning.
Okay. Hey, just I guess we'll start with Kansas State because that's who you play first. What have you seen from them this season?
Well, obviously they're going on the road and playing some really good competition. They lost a tough one last night. I had an opportunity to watch it live, as I think all the coaches did, and they played a few different people, and they swung the bats pretty good. It's a different team than last year. A couple, three starters back, and a couple guys they filled in are guys that we knew about that were in the transfer portal. Other than that, just what we've seen. They'll be scrappy, and I feel like that they probably feel that they should have won last night's game, and uh, we'll be getting their best effort on Friday.
Do you feel like you planned this getaway weekend perfectly given what it looks like outside your stadium?
So far, unless we get stuck in the snow on the way down there tomorrow. So it's pretty good timing. If it was going to happen, that we could get out of town, and then you look at the forecast for the next week or two. Once we get back, it looks pretty good. So that's some good for our guys to look forward to that.
Hutch, go ahead.
Dave, I guess this is a more appropriate time to ask about is there any added inspiration or motivation, with this being Kansas State and TCU coming up that for the guys that were on the team last year and the year before that?
Well, I mean, it's not something that we address. I mean, obviously, it's a different year. But we're just going to try to beat K-State on Friday, and we'll do what we need to do. As of right now, unless something changes, we're pretty healthy, and I feel like the team's fairly confident. We could have done some things better this past weekend, but we addressed those today. This will be our first time we've met with the team since Monday. So, but yeah, I don't feel like it's that way. In baseball, it's year to year, and then when you get to that year, it's weekend to weekend, and we're just going to try to, play well the game that's in front of us.
And you mentioned Colin Fisher was a guy that you had hoped to be able to get in. Just how has he looked? I guess did he throw a bullpen session since he didn't pitch this weekend? And also Hunter Dietz, kind of what's the latest on him?
Yeah, Fisher, we didn't know we were going to run rule him. We had it planned out where he was going to pitch an inning, and we were going to try to get Gibbler an inning, and we did that. And or I think we gave him an inning, but yeah, we had him in the pen. He was going to actually throw the last out just to get him in the game, and at a minimum, and then it didn't happen. So uh, he's fine. Seems to be well on his way to recovering from his surgery, to the point where we feel like we could start him, use him in mid relief, or even finish the game. Um, as far as Hunter Deed, still coming back, not 100%. We don't feel like there's any issues there. And now it's more of him just letting it rip, so to speak, instead of not letting it go. We're not seeing the velocity that we've seen in the past, so we've got to see some more metrics before we're going to put him out there.
Totally, go ahead.
Yeah, obviously you had four pitchers go between 70 and 80 pitches last week. How does that bump up this week, regardless of which three you send out there to start?
Yeah, I mean, if they're fortunate enough to get that far in the game, I would say 80, maybe a little bit more, but not much. Yeah, they all did a great job of giving us 5 innings, and, uh, makes it obviously difficult to figure out who not to start. But, when you start really looking at it, you probably just go with the guys that have had the most rest.
Also, as you look back on Hagan's performance down there last year, just talk about that a little bit and how special that was.
Yeah, it was set up pretty good with him not having a good opening day outing up here in the cold and the wind. And, I've said this many a time looking back, we should never play that game on that Friday in those temperatures and the wind. And but we did, and didn't go great for him. Short outing. Oregon State, really good team. Uh, Indoors in his home state, it just all added up to him being electric, and he was. It'll be something that it'd be hard to duplicate that. I think he would have 18 strikeouts or 17, 18 strikeouts, and you know, whatever innings that added up to. It was just an amazing performance. Just really fun to watch.
Appreciate it.
Jackson.
Yeah, Dave, just another injury question. Logan Maxwell, I know he didn't play in two of the games. How's he doing? And do you think he can maybe is he back to being ready to play in the outfield relatively soon?
Yeah, I'll know more here in a little bit. I did get a message from our trainer today, Corey Wood, that he was good to go. So he said. So we'll run him today and put him through some tests. And it'd be nice to play him in the outfield at least a game this weekend. But we'll make that determination when we see him move today and then again tomorrow, and maybe even discuss things with him on Friday morning if we're not 100% in by tomorrow after the workout.
Gotcha. Two guys that struggled at the plate this weekend, Rocco and Nolan, and they had really good springs and, falls when, before Rocco got the injury. I mean, how do you kind of address when a guy has a really good preseason, it doesn't quite come the first weekend? I mean, is there a lot of talking about it, or do you try and just let them do their thing and not panic at all yet?
Yeah, there's no panic at all, but there is definitely some discussions with them about their approach. And sometimes it's just the way it goes. The one at bat with Rocco that I wish we could get back was when he got a 3-1 pitch and he got jammed off the side armor, because that's not him at all. That's not his personality. He's going to let that barrel get to the ball pretty good there and not get beat, and he got beat. And Souza, just didn't make adjustment on changeup, wasn't seeing it, and he's done well. Still played really good defense, and hopefully those guys will get it going this weekend.
Last one from me, Tate, McGuire, Dylan Carter, two guys that pitched well this weekend. And I know Dylan went more than an inning. Are those guys that for now are going to be one appearance a weekend guys, or could they maybe be, getting Friday, Sunday action and being big parts of the bullpen in terms of one inning, multiple days, maybe?
Oh, they could do one inning multiple days easy. Both of those guys are built up for a lot of innings. I see them more as, middle relievers, 2 and 3 and 4 inning guys, one time a weekend. But whatever we need to do, obviously we feel like we've got a lot of good arms. So I don't think we have to, double up too many guys early this season unless we were just trying to get them ready to do that in league play. But yeah, those guys, they can fit either of those roles you just mentioned.
Sorry, I got one more. The whoever does leave the rotation this weekend, what role do you envision for them when they get to the bullpen? And is it maybe different for whoever does it, or do you think that it can be consistent between whoever is that guy that moves from starter to reliever?
Yeah, I think you'd probably see him more towards the back of the game, although, it depends on what we've done, with our back of the game guys, because you've got two guys that are pretty good back there right now, and then you throw in another one. So I really think it depends on what kind of the game tells us to do. Do we need to bring in, one of these guys in the fifth, let them roll, until they hit a pitch count, or, if things are going well and then they get tight, we just use them in the eighth and the ninth. So it's a good problem to have that we're going to have that option this weekend.
Thanks, Dave.
Kevin, go ahead.
Thanks, Coach. You talked about, and you just mentioned it, having two guys on the back end right there. I'm assuming that's Christian Fouch and Carson Wiggins. I know you like to use multiple closers. That's still the plan moving forward?
Yeah, that'd be what I see so far. And you think about Wiggins the other day. I read something that said he threw 13 strikes out of 20 pitches, and they were all fastballs. But forgot to mention the 2 breaking balls that were strikes in the box that the umpire missed, and one of them would have ended the game. I think he just fooled him because it was nasty. And you guys could probably see it from up there. They were strikes, and it wasn't like they're just on the edge. So uh, he's got a secondary pitch can get you off that 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and you have to respect it because it's a good one. So we're excited that he came in and showed a little bit of that and did it in a real game, and you'll see him again this weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
Matt, back to you.
Yeah, hey Dave, you committed to going to Arlington before anybody really knew what this was, and the games down there have obviously grown out into multiple weekends now. Why do you think this has been such a successful venture for the Rangers?
I think that it's because of the way the tournaments run. Uh, is a lot. There's a lot. It's run really well. The players are treated well. The teams are good. Obviously, the field's incredible. The hotels are right there. Connect to the stadium, right across the street from the stadium. There's some things to do around the ballpark as far as restaurants. It's a really good setup. I mean, it starts with your practice on Thursday. I mean, you got a grounds crew that treats you good. A lot of times you get to these pro parks, these grounds crews, they're a little fussy and they don't really like what's going on, and you're tearing up to their field and all that type of stuff. And you don't get that feeling here. And I've been in a lot of tournaments over the years, and it's just a little bit different feel. And then the fact that it's so good for us because of the location and 5.5 hours south. We have a lot of alumni in the Metroplex area, and then a lot of our fans from Arkansas or this area like to get away, and they can drive if they wish, fly, whatever. It just makes sense, honestly.
You mentioned Cam Kozel the other day. I think you threw out a lot of positions that you might put him at. I think you might have even said catcher. I don't know if you were joking or not there. But realistically, if he were to get into the lineup and it wasn't at second base, what are the spots where he could compete?
Well, he can play a lot of positions. Right now, obviously our third baseman's doing really well. But if there was an injury or needed a day off, he could go to third. We could put him in first, and we've worked him out there a little bit. So you start talking outfield, probably do that. And yeah, I've talked to Cam a couple of times. I think the latest was last week about you know catching, that something he might want to try because he's a left-handed hitter and he's very strong and physical. You saw what happened when the big boy ran into him the other day. It didn't even phase him. And it's you never know. We've had some infielders here that have become catchers and did pretty good job. And obviously Tom Pagnozzi's the first one you mentioned, and then Jimmy Kramer's a long time ago in like 1985 was a third baseman out of Little Rock and hit left-handed, and there was things going on there, put him behind the plate. He made it to the big leagues as a catcher. And so you never know. Just looking at body styles and attitude and their makeup and toughness, and you can see a little bit of traits of a catcher, and whatever. But he's a good ball player, and he cares about the team, wants the team to win. Even when he's not playing, he's standing right up there getting after it and cheering his teammates on, and I really appreciate that.
Hey, and I got one more for you on Arlington. When you played TCU down there 2 years ago, there were 21,000 people in the stands. And last year, I think when you played Oklahoma State, there were 17, 18,000. These are huge crowds, some of the biggest outside of Omaha every year. Does it ever get old playing in front of that? And what's that experience like for the kids or the guys who have not played in there before?
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever get old. I mean, that's pretty exciting when you think about it. First couple of weeks of the season, you get to play in front of 15,000 plus, maybe 20,000 plus, and it's something I think the players really enjoy. It gives them an opportunity to hear it, see it, just get the feel of what it's like to be in that type of atmosphere that's not your home park. And I think the experience that you gain from that, I don't see how it could not help you down the road.
Levi, go ahead.
Coach, with the talent that you'll be facing from these squads from TCU, K-State, and Michigan, how does this talent compare to what you'll see later on in SEC play?
Well, I'll probably be able to talk about that more on Monday or next week, but just on paper and you see what's going on, you have two of the teams, I mean, they've all gone on the road, but two of the teams are 4-0 on the road, which is really impressive. So that tells you something there about the talent. And you start with Michigan. I mean, they really hit the ball, scored a lot of runs this weekend, did a great job. They fielded it as well. They only made a couple errors, and TCU does what they do. They find ways to win. They'll hit, they'll field, they pitch, and K-State coming out of the cold like they did and heading down to I think South Carolina or way down south, playing some really good teams. Probably the team that's going to obviously the most frustrated coming in, and they're going to give a great effort. And I know Pete Hughes, their coach, pretty well, and you follow his track record, especially after that loss last night, because it felt like it was a game that they feel like they should have won. And watching it, that's what I saw. I think the competition is going to be great. And, comparing it to the rest of the league is hard to say. But it's definitely, to me, no knock on Washington State. They had a lot of new guys. They traveled, they've been outside. They had a solid team. They really didn't walk us till the last day. They walked us the last inning of the first game, and then they walked us on Monday. Other than that, they threw a lot of strikes and played pretty good. But this is going to be a step up in competition for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Hutch, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, you brought up the play where Kojal basically drew the runner's interference. So just kind of curious, what was your perspective? What did you think of that play that he kind of instigated?
Well, it's his baseline. A lot of guys would have stopped and let that ball come to them. If he does that, the runner's safe at first and the runner's safe at second. So they got 2 on and no outs. He saw the right-handed hitter was going to try to push it past our lefty, started coming in, and we've talked to our second basemen about it. That is your baseline, and you just go attack the ball. The runner has to get around you, and obviously he just stuck his nose right in there and kept going for the ball, and it worked out for us. I thought it was a really, really headsy baseball play.
And along those lines, just kind of how would you assess your defense as a whole? I think you fielded 985. Just how did you feel this past weekend?
Well, we'll start with the outfield. I thought outfield play was pretty average, and they know that. There were some balls that there was some miscommunication. There was some. I felt like a couple of times we needed to be more aggressive and just take control of the ball, and we're going to get that worked out today. And then on the defensive side, infield wise, I felt like that there was probably maybe one double play more that should have been turned, just with a little more urgency. There was maybe another one that there wasn't a grip on the ball as much on the turn, but the third base play was outstanding. Short, same way. First base, we kicked one ball, it spun out of the first baseman's glove that, started a big inning for him to tie it and take the lead or whatever happened there, take the lead. And, other than that, there were some nice plays. I thought Kendall made a great play and right on that ball that was just smoked, and he got up on it and made a catch. And I think that was the lead off an inning. So I would grade us out pretty good. But, me, I'm all about the defense. And if we keep pitching the way we did this weekend, we'll give up some offense to put defenders in there that are a little bit better.
Matt, you got anything else? All right, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
See you in Arlington.
See you guys.